right, you are still watching TMS here on ETV. If you're just joining us, welcome. It's so good to have you with us. Up next, we are speaking to African spiritual advisor Usiam Kiza. It is a Tuesday, of course, and he is going to be chatting to us about the different types of animals, izilwane, that are used during, a slaughter ceremony or a ritual when we are doing it for the ancestors. And of course, as usual, I'm sure he's got some very, very interesting insights. Sia, thank you so much for joining us once again. Ngiyaphila.
Ngiyaphila wena njani?
Hayi cha ngiyaphila. So sizokhuluma about the different animals ofanele siyisebenzise noma siyisebenzisayo when we're doing the various ceremonies.
Yeah.
But ake siqale ngokubaluleka kokuthi indaba kubalekile ukuthi sisebenzise ilwane when we are slaughtering.
So the reason why sisebenzisa isilwane makuhlatshwa is because masiphahla, right? When we're speaking to our ancestors, right? We do spiritually need nourishment, right? We need assistance in order for this intention to be fulfilled,
right.
Okay? Because isilwane, whether we use igazi, inyongo, umswane, or the meat itself, right? All of those things are sources of spiritual nourishment. Because lo msebenzi lo is not for mina as a human being, but it is for mina as a spirit, right? So you use the different parts of an animal to successfully execute umsebenzi wako and the intention of umsebenzi wako to make sure, right, that the message is well received, okay, and that spiritually that enhancement is also attained.
Right. And then there are then these different animals. I guess why do we use mhlambe inkukhu imisebenzi ekufanele ukuthi sisebenzise inkukhu for yona? Because there are some people who would say, well, I don't have enough money to buy imbos.
Yeah.
But I'm sure even if I use a chicken, I will be able to appease the ancestors.
So a chicken is a great place to start, right? That's why there's nothing wrong with slaughtering a chicken if you don't have the financial means.
Right.
But it is important that you understand that the chicken is just to say, I ask that you alleviate me of any kind of symptoms or problems or causes or spiritual outcomes for now. This is what I can afford to. So you're acknowledging the fact that there's a problem and you're saying that I intend to do better, but it is not the end. Inkukhu cannot be done for umsebenzi. Inkukhu ingaphahlela isithebe esikhulu. So inkukhu is an introduction or a starter for imbuzi. Yabo? And then imbuzi iphahlela inkomo. Right? Well, Tina Mazulu, we go as far as inkomo. Different cultures, some cultures don't go as far as inkomo.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I wish I was one of those because, hey, inkomo
yabiza. All right, and I'm sure as we continue, then we'll speak about those different stages of sisuke sesifika kanjani ukuthi manje sesisebenzisa inkomo. Ake siqhubeke ngale ngxoxo yethu yenkukhu. There are also different colors when it comes to animals, and the same would apply to inkuku. Take us through that. There's red, there's white that we know, there's black.
So, imibala, right? Specific colors go with specific families.
All right.
Right? So this is why I tell people it's so important that you know your family history. Because in your family, there's a specific color which will work well for need. But if I'm going to keep it very general and generic and you don't know your family history, right? White signifies ukhanya, okay? Purity, cleanliness, right? Red is for inhlaka.
Right.
Right? Luck, prosperity, success. And then umnyama is if we are removing izinto ezimbi emdenini. Right? Ugeza amanzi amnyama, for example, cleansing a family or generational curse, yabo, or sivali idlozi elibi, or you're closing an ancestor that was very bad and toxic to the family.
Sure.
Right? However, the color black is also the color of abalosi. But we're going to get into that in just a bit.
Right.
But at the same time, abantu mabefuna ukuganga, right? Basebenzisa inkukhu emnyama. So that's why inkukhu emnyama is used by some healers to remove isichitho.
Right.
Right? But at the same time, umuntu mayihlaba inkukhu emnyama uzama ukukuthakatha.
So let's go back to the idea of knowing your family history and background in order for you to be able to make the right kinds of decisions, right? who is that person within the family who would know this thing, probably, that I can go to as a young person if I'm the one who wants to do this? Or do I need to go and consult with a seer, a sangoma, to be able to know and understand? How would it work if I want to do things the right way?
First things first, don't consult. If you want to know your family history, don't consult, because abantu bazodlela ngawo, bazonibhayizisa. Khayenza amakhandlela amabili uphahla. Right? Ubabuza abadala ukuthi imibala, the colors of this family, right? What are those colors? And bazofika kuwena bantshele. Okay? That's if you don't know. The person in the family who would know is the eldest person in the family. Right? So for me, it's my father and my uncle. Okay, my uncle and then on top of that, my father's the one who knows the family history. That's how you would know it. But it's not always going to be the men in the family. Gishabo mama no gogo as well. They also know this history. Right. So don't think it's only going to be the men in the family. You're forgetting that doesn't even see anymore.
Who has all the wisdom.
That grew up and saw everything.
Exactly. And then again, or these rituals that are just a no-no. You cannot use inkuku for this particular umsebenzi. Is there something of that sort?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So when it comes to cleansing the loss of life, you need to use a four-legged animal. Whether you use a sheep or a goat, yeah, fine. Right? A four-legged animal. But if umuntu has a family member has passed away, miscarriage or an abortion, or maybe when you were in an accident and the person that you were driving with passed away and you survived, we are guess. Loss of life. Four-legged animal. People are going to say, yeah, but we can't really afford a goat or a sheep, that's why we use a chicken. And I'm saying, you don't have to get an adult goat for 5,000 rand. You can get a small, normal-sized goat. And the only reason why we use a goat is because my understanding is that goats are cheaper than sheep and they're more accessible. Right? When it comes to ugezumuzi okanye CCC geza isinyama esinzima, you need a four-legged animal. Right? Because the two-legged animal is good for a small curse like isichitho. Right? But if you're going to cleanse a very deeply rooted generational curse, you need a four-legged animal. Because that curse is tied to a human being. So it's tied to life. Right? And then, of course, when we get into ubungoma, right? When you're going to either cleanse ikwama or ubonga ikwama, you need to use inkomo, emhlophe. Right? There's no room to deviate there. So a lot of people, what some young healers will do is, bazo twasa, bapothule, and then bapothuliswa ngembuzi. Then they're like, yeah, but idlos al-khulumi, and on top of that, our clients are fig. It's because when uniges idlos isilwane esincane sembuzi, when they actually wanted a cow. So the key for young healers out there, right? The key to your gift is bonga ikwama with the right animal. If they show you inkomo emnyama, right? Inkomo emnyama abalozi lo. Right? That doesn't necessarily mean ukuthi ulethi isinyama. No, angakabhayizisa ugobela wakathi no. Awuhlabi inkomo emnyama for ikwama because gubi. Or bakhombisa inkomo emhlophe, hlaba leyo nkomo. But don't do anything less than inkomo, because then your gifts don't work anymore after all this time usephehlweni.
Sure. Right, so wakhuluma ngeenkomo ake sithathe ikhefu. Masibuya, we'll talk about inkomo, sikhuluma about goats and talk about sheep as well, and the different types of rituals that we use these animals for. You at home can also be part of this conversation by sending us your voice notes on 072-411-6528. Maybe you have a question for Usiam Kize or you have a comment. He's here. When we come back, he'll help us with all of that. Let's take a break. All Alright, so siphinde sikwamukele sisasengxoxweni yethu no Mkize. We are talking about the different kinds of animals that we use for rituals. Earlier on we're speaking inkukhu nemibala yayo nokuthi imiphi imisebenzi ekufanele sisebenzise kuyona inkukhu. Sia, thank you so much for staying with us. We are going to continue our conversation. When we're preparing to slaughter, right? What should we then as a family do to announce to the ancestors ukuthi kukhona umsebenzi esizowenza? Do we go and visit mhlambe mathuna? What do we do? Is there a certain period mhlambe kufanele siphahle? How does it work?
So I don't understand the thing of ukemathuneni ngoba there's no spiritual significance there that I understand ukuthi mawuwenza umsebenzi yamathuneni. Because niyophahlela idlozi of everybody encore abekhona lapha emathuneni. You see? So I would leave that aside. If nizwenza umsebenzi shisana impepho, or whomever the elders in the family shisa impepho abantu abadala ngomhla 13 of August we're going to be doing umsebenzi onje.
Right.
Now when you are actually doing umsebenzi, there are steps that you need to follow. Are you going if you're going as far as a cow, on the let's say the cow's going to be slaughtered on Friday. On the Wednesday afternoon, uhlaba inkukhu. Inkukhu izophahlela umsebenzi in general. Then on the Thursday, right, you'll cook the chicken and eat it on the Thursday. On the Thursday afternoon, usiyohlaba imbuzi or imvu, whichever one, right? Ngoba seliphahlela isithebe esikhulu, which is inkomo. Because ngithi inkomo ayingeni kwikhishi okanye umsamo ukuthi iphahlelwe, right? That's why siphahlela inkomo with imbuzi.
Right.
Then uhlaba imbuzi, iphekwe the next day on the Friday, and then on the Friday sengenqa inkomo.
Okay.
Done.
Right.
So the mistake that people do is babenze so senza umsebenzi wembuzi. They forget about le nkukhu ezophahlela umsebenzi. Or they say senza inkomo and they go straight to inkomo. Yabo, when it's when it's the chicken and the goat that comes before the cow, which prepares idlozi nabantu abadala.
Right.
That's the general idea. But the most important thing when it comes to these practices is execute isiko lasekhaya. That's why I'm not telling everybody how to slaughter it, when to slaughter it in the evening or in the afternoon, whether or not it's because I can just give you a general spiritual guideline, but the most important thing is follow isiko lasekhaya.
Right. And there's also that beliefs here, Yoguti, once you've done that kind of an announcement, right, to say, bantu abadala ngomhla 13 sesokwenza lokhu nalokhu nalokhu, awusakwazi ke manje ukuthi uhoxe uthi hayi angisaqhubeki manje nokwenza lo msebenzi. How true is that? Once I've made this announcement, I am absolutely obligated to go ahead with it.
You're not absolutely obligated to go ahead with it. Izinto happen, right?
Okay.
People pass away. People get ill. People fall ill. Right? Life happens.
Yeah.
So when life happens, I senshisa impepho nithi bantu abadala yebo kuzomela ukuthi manje sihlehla izinto, we have to move things. Kodwa nani ngicela ukuthi nisiveze, please explain to us what was the cause of this person's passing right before senza lo msebenzi. Are the two connected, or is it just sheer coincidence?
Right.
That's the most important thing, because mhlawumbe that thing that's causing umsebenzi ukuthi uphazamiseke is tied to umsebenzi, and it's something that they're saying that, look, this needs to be addressed before we can do lo msebenzi.
Right.
You see, ngoba mhlawumbe nina nifuna ukwenza umsebenzi wokubonga, right? Then someone passes away. But bayantshela ukuthi no, lo msebenzi wokubonga that you want to do, you're going to give this animal or dedicate it to the wrong surname. So lungisani inkinga yesibongo kuqala. Right? Exactly.
All right. And then sikhulumile about the different rituals that we use a chicken for. Let's move on to goats and sheep. Which are those rituals that we use these animals for? Okay,
a goat and a sheep is pretty much every single ritual that you can think of, apart, well, for AmaZulu Tina, apart from weddings and marriages.
Okay.
Right? Cleansing ceremonies, rituals of thanksgiving, introduction of children into ancestors, changing surnames, correcting surname issues, cleansing generational family curses. Your sheep and your goat will work perfectly fine.
Right.
Right? Even with ufaka abantu abadala in the home as well, cleansing your home, that's also great. But the cow is mainly going to be for umshado and idlozi, for ikwama specifically, right?
Yeah.
But of course, also, inkomo is the best thing to also use for Thanksgiving. You know, if you can afford a cow, you should be doing
That's
one.
what you need to be doing.
Right? Obviously, if isiko lako doesn't say, you know, if you're Pedi or Sutu, then you don't go that high, then that's fine.
Then
you don't have
that's
to go
it.
for a cow. But if you're Zulu and you have amang, you know what's isiko lamazulu, what's inkomo yahaj,
Yes.
inkomo.
All right. So we did ask our viewers to send us their voice notes. Maybe they have questions or comments for you. Should we listen to some of those?
Hi, morning show. I want to ask Sia about the candles. Which type of candles must I light and when? How must I do it?
So amakhandlela are usually, you know, that kind of a recurring question for people who don't understand ukuthi imaphi amakhandlela ekufanele ngiwakhanyise mhlawumbe umuntu uzokwenza umsebenzi mhlawumbe uyabonga noma uyacela uzokhanyisa amaphi amakhandlela.
Okay, so unless she's been shown specific colors in her dreams, then she should just keep it as white candles, right? That's it. 2 white candles, one for mother's side of the family, one for father's side of the family, right? Or one for Izalwazi, one for Amakel, right? Done, that's it.
Right.
It is only if she is shown a specific color, right? And the big mistake that people do with lighting candles is we're lighting candles of different colors that we haven't been shown in our dreams. You see, and then you're wondering why it doesn't give you the connection and communication that you want, because it is like,
So for those people then, Sia, who say, but I went to Mam Kize, no Mao Babum Kize, why said I need to light a red candle and a yellow one for this, and that. Do you then follow with those kinds of instructions or advice from a healer?
I would say take whatever advice, any kind of advice that comes from any healer, right? Even if the advice that comes from me myself, pasha about it first. Right? And then let your ancestors tell you whether or not this person is on the money or not. Even if the advice comes from myself or Dr. Mkhize or any of the other healers, pasha about it first.
Right. I like that. Let's listen to another voice note.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Sisi. Mina ngicela ubuza uSiya ukuthi makunje kwenza kanjani ngokutshintsha izibongo kufuneka ukuthi kusetshenziswe isilwane senjani.
Okay. Ukushintsha isibongo.
Yes.
Right? 4-legged animal, sheep or a goat, doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay? If you are changing surnames, right, as in ukishwala, ungeniswala, you cannot share a goat, right? Umuntu nomuntu dinga imbuzi yakhe. Okay, so if there's 4 of you at home, 4 goats you're going to keep, 4 goats you're going to genis.
Right.
If it's a surname
So we're
correction,
speaking about 8
yebo,
goats.
yebo.
All right.
Right? If it's a surname correction, in other words, my mother and father only partially got married, if it's a surname correction, then it's 1 goat. Right? We can share a goat. Okay? So you can't introduce or change surnames, right? By sharing a goat, 1 goat or sheep per person.
Right.
If uzokishwala, ungeniswala.
Ehe.
If already ula, but ula because 50% was done and we are lungi, so sholezi put encane or uncane kwasala emshadweni kamama nobaba, then you can share a goat.
Right, that makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question, Gebaba Sebonga Kulugutu Tumele Lombozo. I believe we have more voice notes that we can listen to. All right, let's listen.
Good morning, Butsia and Sis Nelisiwe. My name is Julia. But Sia, I would like to know mawuvakashele ngabantu sebehambile emhlabeni amaphupheni wakho but bakubukile kuphela bangakhulumi. I would like to know what does it mean, and nami ngifuna ukuyazi ukuthi mangifuna ugeza ngisusa amabhadi ngiyayazi na kuyisebenzisa inkukhu mina self because I'm scared of ukuhlaba into, like I'm scared ukuthi ngihlabe inkukhu. So ngifuna ukuyazi ukuthi ngingacela ubani ukuthi angisize. Ngicela umama, ngicela usisi. Anyazi ngicela nje ungiphendule lapho ngiyabonga kakhulu.
So it's a two-in-one. The
Yeah.
first one is about ukuvakashelwa abantu abadala mhlambe kodwa when they visit you in the dreams abakhulumi. Yes.
Okay, so if abakhulumi, right, kunesizathu ukuthi abakhulumi. So yena what she needs to do, akakhanyisa amakhandlela amabili amhlophe nendishe eyinamba, aphahla athi ngiyabonga, thank you for visiting me in my dreams. However, ngiyabona ukuthi anikhulumi, right? What can I give you, or how can I be of assistance to enable you ukuthi nikhulume? Because the problem can either be with him or her, or the problem can be with lelo dlozi specifically.
Right.
Yabo? So we need to find out where does the problem lie. Because if the problem lies with them, right,
Yeah.
then kusho ukuthi bona badinga umsebenzi. If the problem lies with idlozi, then that means kunento that idlozi did not complete ngesikhathi bela emhlabeni, or something that happened while they were alive that needs to be corrected.
Right.
Now, as khuluma with the second part, ukugeza amabhadi.
Yes.
Okay, bekhala ukuthi akafuni uyasaba ukugeza
Ukuhlaba, yes.
If uthi uzogeza ibhadi, ugeza liphi ibhadi specifically?
All right.
Right? If uzogeza ibhadi from, if there's someone that passed away in the family wayemathuneni and azange ageza, he cannot go the chicken route, he must go straight to the goat route.
All right.
Because he needs to know ukuthi sigeza liphi ibhadi. Because if you don't know who to geza liphi ibhadi, uzowenza le nkukhu le, right? And you're going to be wasting your time when you should go straight to the four-legged animal, the sheep or the goat. Yabo? So now they need to decide sigeza liphi ibhadi. Is it isnyama from an abortion or miscarriage, some family member passing away, or maybe isichitho, or you know, we use the word amabhadi nesnyama too generally and vaguely, and not specifically enough. Where is lil bhadi coming from? Once he knows that, then that will help him determine the size of the animal that should be used. And of course, yebo, abantu basekhaya bangamsiza with ukuhlaba. You know, just because, you know, well, he sounds like a male. Even though, just because he's a male, doesn't necessarily mean that he has to conform to the stereotype that indoor diyahlaba.
Yes.
Yabo?
Yes.
If he's afraid, then that's okay. He can ask his sister ukuthi ahlaba. There's nothing wrong with that.
And just to follow up on that question, yokuthi ubani okufanele ngimcele mhlambe ukuthi engihlabele lesi silwane. Ubani okufanele esithenge lesi silwane? For instance, if yimina mhlambe ngithi ngifuna ukwenza umsebenzi wokucela, you know, am I able to get help from my father, my brother, an uncle, a husband, ozokhipha imali yakhe yena ephaketheni kube uye othenga lesi silwane, noma because I am the one who is doing this particular request or this particular ritual ibhekene nami okusho ukuthi imali kufuneka iphume kumina specifically?
So it depends on umsebenzi and the mandate behind umsebenzi.
Right.
If umsebenzi wokucela, for example, they can give you help. It's not a problem. Okay. You can receive assistance.
Right.
Umsebenzi wokushintsha isibongo as well, you can receive assistance. Umsebenzi wokugeza ingane, all of those kinds, you can receive assistance.
Right.
The only one where you cannot receive assistance is if when ugeza a sin that you did, or something that you were supposed to do. For example, if when you try to kill someone in the family, right? Or you rape someone in the family. That is a burden that rests on your shoulders and yours alone. No one else can help you. If all you can afford is a chicken, usuyokhipha ke lo 200 rand yenkukhu uthi bantu abadala, this is all I have for now. Okay? Ngicela ningivulele izinto so that ngawathola amandla yembuzi. And then usuyobuya ke nembuzi.
Right.
So where umsebenzi falls apart is, or where families drag themselves into other family members' mess, is because we take on mandates that are not ours to take on.
Yeah.
You see? So before now, where you give money to your friend or your family member, now can I give money ngimsize unelisiwe ngalo msebenzi lo? Because la madla kuwona amadla wami, amadla kamkhizi. You see, kanje manje senginikeza unelisiwe. Manje sebeshaya mina bathi saba wenzani imali yethu? Ubani osenikeza nale mali? Because le mali le isingcolisiwe manje, because that is that person's mandate. There's a reason why everybody else's money must not go to that person, because lo muntu ungcolile. Kumele ukuthi azigeze yena ngemali yakhe. Because if we help, sesingcolisa thina sonke.
All right, that makes sense. All right, can we listen to another voice note? Right, let's roll it.
Morning show.
Cela ubuza manje mawufuna ubuyisela abantu abadala ngaphakathi eyadini like ubuye emntwini athi abantu abadala bangaphandle wenza kanjani like uhlaba inkomo kanye imbuzi ngokuba ugogo lo bese kuthe sibabuyisele eyadini but ke sawubuyisela nje sibabuyisele nje inkosi.
Lovely question. Because Lendo Fagamanda Badala and people, some healers are making a fortune from helping people. First of all, that she's describing, I think in yang, I think melap. Second of all, don't listen to someone like, no, zoba keeper, basem yang, zoba geza, then soba hamsim full and soba geza, then soba buis. No, that's a scam. Wasting your time. If ubona abantu abadala bahambe egcekeni but either abangena endlini or they're surrounding the outskirts of the home, the border, right? Obame esangweni. Thathani imbuzi yesilisa inthi bantu abadala ngicela ningilinde esangweni khona ngizongenisa. Right? Thathani leyo mbuzi then esangweni izoshisa impepha ithi bantu abadala nansi isilwane esingenisa ngayo. Here's the animal that we're bringing you into this home with. Ngenani-ke nangu umuzi wenu. Bizani salwazi bizani wonke amakhehle ngenani emzini yenu. Right? Ningena ngaphakathi ninquma imbuzi. Done. Finished. Sekuphelile. You can use a goat or a sheep. But umelapi is not needed. Idlozi alkishili gezu then liyabuya futhi. Absolutely. And then I saw on Twitter someone said there was a healer that said, no, I'm going to take them out, keep them at my place temporarily. When you have your own space, ngizobafaka. Angihle. Manje uzobafaka kwibhodlela. Yes. Kwibhodlela. Also on top of that,
Airbnb yama ancestors.
Une Airbnb nje kunamabhodlela nama-shelf. Idlozi kamkhizi idlozi kaNdlovu.
Wow. So this is how they're making a killing because basically that's what they're doing. Right, Sia, thank you so much for all of this insight. We really do hope that now Elapekaya, you got a lot of information about the different animals and the different things that you need to do to make sure ukuthi umsebenzi owenzayo uhamba kahle ngaso sonke isikhathi. Sia Mkhize, we take a short ad break now.